Well, if you thought the ground shook beneath you a couple weeks ago, you should have been on social media yesterday. LaSalle bringing back baseball. Fran Dunphy staying. I think the ground at 20th and Only shook for just a few seconds out of pure excitement. And see, I was going to write a sappy little teaser about how after this we only have 2 more shows, but maybe good things do still happen this close to graduation. Hello, I'm Megan Cooney.
And I'm Charlie Hug. My dog ate my teaser. You're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics, SportsLine.
Welcome to SportsLine. It's been a busy week for LaSalle Athletics with the announcement of new teams, breaking news, and of course, our spring sports recaps of the week.
And later, SportsLine reporter Riley Kavchuk sat down with Madison Jack to talk about women's rowing and her new Instagram page highlighting women in sports. You won't want to miss it.
But first, let's take a look for the first time in SportsLine history, our SportsLine Top 5.
Number 1, LaSalle Athletics held its annual XB Awards ceremony on Tuesday night. A mix of team and individual awards were presented, such as Men's and Women's Rising Star, Men's and Women's Community Service Award, and Academic Excellence Award. Among the winners were men's rowing and women's soccer for Explorer Excellence, lacrosse and men's soccer for community service, and Paige Mitchell for the De La Salle Service Award.
Number 2, the LaSalle water polo team has qualified for the MAC championships for the 4th consecutive year. The team won 2 of 4 games over the weekend to earn themselves a trip down to Marist on April 26th to the 27th to compete in the tournament.
Number 3, Fran Dunphy has announced he will be returning to his role as head coach of the men's basketball team for the 2024-25 season. Dunphy, a graduate of the class of 1970, is the winningest coach in Philadelphia Big Five basketball history, amassing 611 wins across his career, across 3 of the Big Five teams, and coming in at 42nd most in all of Division I basketball.
Number 4, the LaSalle Athletic Department has announced the addition of 4 varsity sports programs for the 2025-26 school year. 3 new programs will be added, including women's rugby, women's acrobatics and tumbling, and women's triathlon, as well as reinstating the men's baseball team. In addition, LaSalle will also bolster its cheer and dance teams and add a student band to enhance the fan experience at Explorer events. These will be the newest additions to the athletic program since the infamous program cuts during the 2020 COVID pandemic. And the new teams will now give LaSalle a total of 23 Division I teams, 9 men's and 14 women's.
And number 5, Liam Rivard of the men's track team and Hannah Warren of the women's water polo team have been named Mr. and Miss LaSalle for the 2023-2024 school year. The awards were voted on by fans based on performance both on and off the field, or the pool, or the track.
You're fine. You're witty with these things. All right, for the first time ever, a top 5.
There's just too much going on this week.
There was simply too much.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin. All right, the XBs.
Yes.
The XBs for this week. That's always a super fun night to really highlight and showcase our student athletes and all the work that they've done on and off the field or the track or the pool, like you like to say.
Yes.
But yeah, those are definitely really interesting, and everyone looked really nice.
It's cool because there's like performance awards for like individual performance, team performance, but then there's also the outside, like the community service awards and academic awards. So it's nice to see recognition for every aspect of what these student athletes do, because that student is a big part of student athlete. And so it's nice to see them doing that. The next big one I have to get into, we'll get into the sports, but Fran Dunphy is a big one that I'm really excited about. I think you cannot understate how much he means for this team. And I know there's a lot of players that are looking at other options, I'll say, and so I think this decision for Fran Dunphy is a really big impact on what the basketball players do moving forward. Yeah,
Fran Dunphy, the love LaSalle has for Fran Dunphy is completely it's crazy.
Yes.
So glad that he's coming back. And then getting into the sports, we are reinstating baseball, which I know everyone is extremely excited about. I know cutting baseball back in the 2020 program cuts was a huge loss for LaSalle. So hopefully that brings in 3 new sports: women's rugby, tumbling, acrobatics, and triathlon. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
The baseball cut was tough because they were one of the better teams on campus at the time. So that was rough, but I think that was always going to be the first sport that was brought back just for what they meant here. And the facilities we have a great field that is now kind of just going unused. So it was good for them to bring that back and put that back in. But I guess they'll wait for men's acrobatics till I graduate because
yeah, they don't want you. They don't want to be too good right off the bat. They really got to work their way up. And that's it for the top 5. Now let's see how our teams did in this week's recaps. The LaSalle water polo team, with a record of 15-18 overall and 5-7 in the MAC, delivered an electrifying performance over the weekend, splitting 4 games and securing a spot in the MAC championships for the 4th straight season. The weekend's most rewarding moment came in a heart-pounding 9-8 victory over Big 5 rival Villanova, sealing their perfect 3-0 record against the mainline this season. They started their weekend versing VMU. The team came out swinging, delivering a stunning performance against VMU. From the get-go, the Explorers demolished their opponents, notching an outstanding 9 goals in the first quarter to have a 9-2 lead. But they didn't stop there. LaSalle continued their rampage in the second quarter, shutting down VMU completely with a stellar defensive display, leaving the Cadets 6-0 to amplify their lead to a whopping 15-2 at the halftime whistle, their largest halftime advantage they've seen this season. LaSalle maintained control, sealing a 22-11 win. 11 players scored, and Francesca Coe led with 7 goals and 6 steals. They then moved on to LIU, where they didn't have the outcome they've expected. LIU Sharks dominated LaSalle with a 6-0 lead in the first quarter. Despite LaSalle's efforts, LIU maintained control, securing an 8-2 lead at halftime. LaSalle rallied in the second half, but LIU sealed the win with a 7-1 final frame, with Ella Tice scoring the lone goal for LaSalle. Continuing on to Wagner, early on Wagner seized a 5-1 lead, but LaSalle's Tatum Lomax and Francesca Coe led a game narrowing the gap to 5-4 at the halftime. Hannah Warren and Coe kept the Explorers in the fight, tying the game at 7-7, but Wagner finished strong, securing a 14-9 win with a late scoring spree. Lastly, they took on Big 5 rival Villanova. The Explorers came out swinging, securing an early 4-0 lead in the first quarter with goals from Lomax, Kolovau, Malone, and Warren. Despite Villanova notching 1 before the buzzer, LaSalle held strong. But the second quarter saw a shift in momentum as Villanova outscored LaSalle 3-1, narrowing the gap to 5-4 at halftime. Bonet Saez was the lone scorer for the Explorers in the second quarter. Villanova continued their push into the third, tying the game at 5-5, yet LaSalle quickly regained their rhythm, scoring 3 consecutive goals to end the quarter strongly. Kolovau, Lomax, and Coe contributed to the scoring spree. Although Villanova rallied, cutting the lead to 1 with under 2 minutes left, LaSalle managed to run down the clock in the final possession, securing a thrilling 9-8 victory.
The LaSalle men's and women's track and field team ran at the Larry Ellis Invitational this weekend, its second meet at Princeton in 3 weeks. Senior distance runner Tayanga Mbambo shined, setting a personal best and earning first place in the 5,000-meter event with a time of 14 minutes and 4 seconds. Senior Christine Mancini finished 4th in a group of 42 runners in her first 800 meters of the outdoor season. She clocked a time of 2 minutes and 5 seconds, which currently ranks 37th in the region. Freshman Helene Usher and teammate Neve Malai each earned a top 10 finish in the 5,000-meter event. It was Malai's first time running the 5,000 meters in her collegiate career. Nick Malai finished in the top 10 among 32 runners on the men's side. Junior James Patak ran within 1 second of the PR in the 1,500 meters, notching 3 minutes and 50 seconds, which places him 6th in the A10. Teammates Arthur Cosson and Matt Hill also competed in the event. In her steeplechase debut, freshman Gwen O'Good ran a speedy 10 minutes and 18 seconds. That time places Gwen 1st in the A10, 10th in the region, and 2nd on the all-time LaSalle list.
Both men's and women's rowing traveled to Camden, New Jersey to participate in the Net Cup Regatta. Starting off strong with the men, the top 2 varsity 8 boats both earned gold. To start off the morning, the second varsity 8 cruised by Michigan by 10 seconds to advance to the grand final. The second varsity 8 would then shut out Trinity and Embry-Riddle to take home the gold with a time of 6 minutes and 1.95 seconds. The varsity 8 boat beat out number 2 nationally ranked Trinity in the first round by almost 4 seconds. They then went on to beat Trinity for the second time while also beating 23rd ranked Temple. Finally, the varsity 4 competed in 2 straight final rounds, finishing 4th respectively. The women competed in their first regatta of the season. The varsity 8 boat took third in their heat and 15th overall, defeating A10 rivals Dayton and George Mason with a time of 7 minutes and 15.2 seconds. The varsity 8 boat barely missed the cutoff for the grand final by 0.7 of a second, but still placed second in their heat and 7th out of the 26 boats, overall being the top finisher among the other A10 schools.
Women's lacrosse faced Duquesne on Saturday. Katie Johnson started off with a goal early for the Explorers, assisted by Mackenzie Click. Duquesne then responded with racking up 4 unanswered goals until Claudia Steinmetz broke Duquesne's streak with a goal for LaSalle. This ended the quarter with a score of 4-2. Duquesne dominated the second quarter, growing their lead to 7-2. And in the last 3 minutes of the half, Maddie Henderson converted on a free possession shot. This ended the half with LaSalle trailing 7-3. Duquesne scored again at the start of the third, but the Explorers answered back. Click started it off scoring on another free position shot, and Gina Delangelo added another with her first point of the game. The Dukes answered, giving them a 9-5 lead, and Duquesne grew their lead again, but Sam Klein and Johnson both added on goals to cut the lead by 4 at the end of the third. In the fourth, Melissa Hewitt and Molly Maloney both put one in to cut the Dukes' lead even more. The late comeback from the Explorers was powered by Johnson as she scored her third with under 6 minutes remaining. LaSalle held a strong defense, only allowing 1 goal in the fourth, before Johnson scored her fourth goal of the game, making it a 1-point game, but this was not enough. The game ended in an 11-12 loss for the Explorers.
The women's golf team traveled down to Annapolis, Maryland this past weekend to compete in the Navy Spring Invitational. Throughout the 2 days, the Explorers were led by Hannah Bassler, who finished the invite with a 2-day total of 171, good for 27 over par. Paige Sarmanaro and Nina Okinkova were the next Explorers to enter the clubhouse after shooting a 174 and 178 respectively. Kaylee Zeman and Sydney Levery rounded out the 2 Explorers who finished the tournament with 10th place with a total score of 702, 52 over par.
The men's golf team followed up their win at the Battle of Rum Point with a match at the Wildcat Spring Invite. The Explorers as a team finished in 4th place with the group of Ben Batty, Kevin Lyden, Carson Rush, and Alex Geekus, and Ryan Smiley shooting a combined 872 over 54 holes. The team was led by Batty once again, who entered the clubhouse after shooting even par over 2 days and coming in 8th place overall. Lyden and Rush came in next for the Explorers, both shooting a 221 and tying for 20th place. On the individual side, Nikita Romanov had the best score for the Explorers, shooting a 3 under par over the 2 days and coming in at a tie for 3rd place. Armin Lascalzo came in next for the Explorers, tying for 14th overall after shooting a 219, and was followed by Gavin Dosh and Matthew LaFond, who both finished in the top 35.
Okay, so not only are we adding sports to our lovely roster here at LaSalle, we had a busy week with the sports we do currently have at the school.
These hosts got their work cut out for them next
year.
Yeah,
I know. No one gives us enough appreciation back here. We are on the move at all times. But starting off with women's water polo, I know they were in our top 5 this week for their invitation back to the MAC Championships for the 4th season in a row, which is super impressive. I know they went 2 for 2 this weekend, but beating out Big 5 rival Villanova was absolutely phenomenal for them.
Yeah, I mean, for the 3rd time this season, that's really cool to see. And it's kind of been the story of the season is that they're really getting big wins, and then they play a ranked team, and they're hanging in competitively, but they can't grab the win. So I think having that experience and playing those better teams, it's like, I don't know, in baseball, like warming up with a donut on the bat. Like the more you can like practice against better teams, the better you'll get. So I think we're not going to see all those ranked opponents in the MAC tournament. But I think we now have the experience of playing those better teams to go in and have the confidence. And I think, again, 4th year in a row making the tournament. In my opinion, I think this is the most sound team and the most ready to make a run that we've
they're definitely there athletically. They're not losing by big margins. It's just a matter of the teams they're playing. But again, beating Villanova is a huge win for them. Yeah. Moving on to, oh gosh, I don't even know what's next. Lacrosse.
Yeah.
They did lose, but not by a lot.
I'll tell you what, it was definitely their best fought game this whole season. I actually work. Totally random. I work with a mother of a Duquesne lacrosse player, and she was giving us a lot of props. She's like, your team has what it takes. It kind of, again, she even noticed, comes down to coaching every now and then, but it was cool to see the box score and see how many girls scored in this game. Usually, you have Claudia Steinmetz, Katie Johnson. They're kind of like the core scorers, but you have Molly Maloney scoring in this game, Sam Klein, a lot of names that you don't hear too often getting involved. So even in a loss, if nothing else, you kind of got that going for you.
Yeah, they definitely, like I said, we've always said that women's lacrosse has the talent there. It's just kind of a matter of coaching in different smaller aspects, but they definitely proved that to us in this game against Duquesne. And then men's rowing taking home 2 gold at the regatta in New Jersey this weekend. That was super impressive for them. They beat out Trinity College, which is ranked number 3rd in the world. That was hard to get out. But so props to them. They also beat other Philly rival Temple in their 2 different rounds. So 2 gold for both of their boats was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want about how many, like, we're ranked, but there's only 30-some rowing in the country. But, I mean, they earned their rank. You can tell they're a good team. They're beating good programs. Yeah, I think they're definitely doing what they need to do. Women's rowing, same thing. They'll get there. But I think a lot of potential for these rowing teams.
Yeah, and then shout out quickly to Gwen Good of our SportsLine cast, who I know broke her out this weekend. Congratulations to her. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, SportsLine reporter Riley Kapchak sat down with a student who's really making a splash at LaSalle. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Joanna Van Thine, class of 2007, and you're watching LaSalle 56.
It's LaSalle TV.
Oh, right, of course. All right, I'll do it again. Hi, I'm Joanna Van Thine, class of 2007, and you're watching LaSalle 56. You're watching LaSalle 56. Oh, God. Hi, I'm Joanna Van Thine, class of 2007, and you're watching LaSalle 56. Can't do it. Hi, I'm Joanna Van Thine, class of 2007, and you're watching LaSalle 56. Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Joanna Van Thine, class of 2007, and you're watching LaSalle 56.
It's right behind you.
LaSalle 56.
TV.
LaSalle TV 6. LaSalle 56. And you're watching LaSalle 56. LaSalle 56. And you're watching LaSalle 56.
You're old.
Hey! And you're watching LaSalle TV. I did it. I did it. I'm not old.
Welcome back. Riley got the chance to sit down with Madison Jack. Not only is she a part of the women's rowing team, but she recently just started an Instagram account called Explore Hers, which is solely dedicated to women's sports here at LaSalle. Take a look.
Welcome back to On the Sideline. I'm Riley Kapchuk, and joining me today is junior Madison Jack, aka MJ. MJ, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So besides MJ being an amazing student athlete here at LaSalle, she is also the face behind the LaSalle Explore Hers, which idolizes incredible female athletes, specifically here at LaSalle, past and present. But we'll get into that in a little bit later. First, we're going to talk about rowing. So rowing often requires a significant time commitment. How do you balance your training schedule with everyday aspects of your life?
Yeah, so we have practice at 6 a.m. every day, which means I'm up at 5 every day. So it's definitely a lot, but I've learned that it's kind of better to get your workout over early in the morning, and then you get the whole rest of the day to focus about school. But athletics definitely gives us a lot of really great help with academics and tutors and stuff like that. So it's been pretty easy to keep track.
So women's rowing just started their spring season a couple weeks ago. Now reflecting on the fall season alone into this season, is there anything particular, like, improvement you said that you've made just from last fall to now?
Yeah, so we actually had a few coaching changes. We have a new head coach this year, Brian Perkins. He's done an amazing job transforming our team. We had a slow start in the fall, but we're really looking forward to ramping up in the spring. We have our first home race this weekend on the Schuylkill, so it should be pretty exciting.
What would you say is a major factor needed to maintain being a successful team?
Definitely communication. I think we're around each other all the time, just with the long hours that we spend in training. So we get to know each other very well. We're a pretty compatible team. We all care for each other a lot. So we all just have pretty open communication, and we're always talking to each other.
And as a female rower, has there any sort of challenges on or off the water that you faced?
Yeah, I would say just, being a female athlete, there's always times when you feel like your performance might be overlooked by your male counterparts. I think that goes for any sport, though. So with Explore Hers, I kind of wanted to highlight the success of the female athletes on campus.
And how do you like overcome that like male more like that like superior rate, especially when it's like more like reflecting towards you or like your team?
I think something that our team is really good at is being happy for our own successes and knowing that as long as we know we're doing a good job, it doesn't really matter what other people think. Obviously, the external like appreciation is always great, but we do a really good job of building each other up and showing appreciation for one another.
Yeah, and is that like something you feel like not just a rowing team, but any like sport team should have?
For sure. On our team, me and Megan Lyons were the captains of our team, so we try and do a teammate of the week every week, and they will get like a shout out in front of the whole team and they go to crown. So it just makes people feel welcome and appreciated on the team.
Yeah, definitely. So rowing can be physically demanding. How do you approach training and conditioning to ensure you stay on top of your game?
It's definitely a lot, especially with rowing. It's all cardio based, so we spend a lot of time just doing miles on the water, but also doing extra conditioning throughout the day. We mostly have 2 days dedicated to extra conditioning, and then we have 2 days dedicated to lift. So it definitely takes a toll on your body, but it's totally worth it for that 8-minute race you get at the end of the year.
Definitely, and doing that can sometimes can be mentally draining. And I feel like mental health with athletes isn't really emphasized enough. But what do you think is an important quality to like not go in a loop to like stay like on your game still mentally?
For rowing specific, our sport is kind of focused solely on numbers, especially during our indoor season in the winter. We're on the erg, which is like the rowing machine, and it kind of gives you a number of how fast you're going. So it can definitely be intimidating if you're not having a good day or you're comparing yourself to other people. But I think just knowing that you're more than a number and that doesn't really define your success as an athlete is really important. But I know Katie Johnson, she runs Morgan's Message here. She's doing a great job giving out resources and help for all the students that want to focus on mental health.
Yeah, definitely. Now moving on to one of MJ's recent contributes. MJ made an Instagram account called LaSalle Explore Hers, highlighting the female athletes of 20th and Olney. MJ, could you just give me your thoughts and ideas while creating the account?
Yeah, so I was kind of inspired by two different things. The first thing being the sports innovation competition the School of Business and the Business of Sports Club is putting on. Kind of got me thinking about a lot of different things. And while thinking for ideas for that, I was actually watching the Women's March Madness games. And so I was kind of inspired by both, especially seeing the personalities on the court and trying to think of ways to make sports better. Being a female athlete, I really like seeing the success stories of like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Paige Beckers, and that kind of just inspired me to do something like that here to like show light for all the female athletes on campus.
Mm-hmm. And as we all know by now, social media can be a powerful tool for awareness. How are you going to leverage your platform to raise attention to women in sports and women athletes?
Yeah, so the goal right now is to have 1 to 2 posts per week dedicated to telling a story of a different athlete on campus, whether it's someone breaking a record or just being a good teammate or, just a whole team success. So that's the goal for right now. I'm also working towards getting ambassadors on every team that will come to meetings and we can kind of talk about different things that are going on in the sports world at LaSalle and how we can make that better for female athletes, and also just having them as resources to hear all the different success stories across the teams.
Right. So you just mentioned your ambassadors. Are you going to have any other strategy that you're going to use to engage your audience to build more of a fostering community for your following?
Yeah, one idea I have is to use like a nomination link. So if you're not an ambassador or you don't know who your team's ambassador is, you can definitely nominate anyone that you feel like has had a great success that not many people know about and it should be known about. That's one thing. And I also want to do a little bit of fundraising or just events to like bring the community together.
Perfect. Looking ahead, what are your aspirations for the future with this account?
Just in like the first 2 weeks of starting up, like I've seen so much growth and it's really like exciting to see. So seeing the potential of that so early on, I'm just really looking forward to seeing like how far it can go. I think looking down the line, it would be cool to get some of the male athletes involved because really, even if all the women are involved on campus, nothing really changes without having that male support and representation.
Mm-hmm, definitely. Well, MJ, thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you the best of luck with your season. And I wish you nothing but success with the Instagram account. I'll definitely be looking at that.
Thank you.
And if you aren't already following the Instagram account is at LaSalle Explore Hers, Hers, so make sure to follow. Now we're gonna go back to Megan and Charlie.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we have all of this week's upcoming games. Stay tuned.
I drive 65,000 miles each year in my bus. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. You don't want to be in the blind spot of a 40,000-pound bus when I have less than a second to react. I do what I can by changing lanes and taking turns slowly. It really helps when people look out for me too. Give me room to operate safely. It's our roads, it's our safety.
Welcome back. We have a busy week of Explorer Sports, so here's what you have to look forward to. Men's and women's track and field will travel to Charlottesville, Virginia to participate in the Virginia Challenge Friday and Saturday. They will then travel to New Jersey to participate in the Ryder Invitational. Women's golf will travel to Florida to participate in the MAC Championship over the weekend.
Men's and women's rowing will participate in the Kerr Cup on Saturday, and finally lacrosse will take on George Mason at home on Saturday.
All right, so not much coming up. Track and field have a busy weekend. I know they're going to Charlottesville and New Jersey, and they tend to split it up, so good luck to them. And women's golf in the MAC Championships, they're going to Disney, so that's super exciting for them.
There's a lot of perks to playing golf. I've figured that out. And then, yeah, lacrosse, their last home game of the season. All the fans want to go out and see the last lacrosse game. This is your last chance.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be chomping at the bit. But, all right.
To see everyone out there.
Yeah.
And that just about wraps it up for this week. If you can't make it out to see the Explorers play, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by visiting goexplorers.com.
Also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on Instagram at SportsLineLTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions there.
For our entire SportsLine team, I'm Megan Cooney.
And I'm Charlie Hugg. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at the game.